Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the very end, the finale of season 9 of Love is Blind. I don't know how to feel. I have a few conflicting and confusing emotions, honestly, because on one hand, it's like, oh my gosh, can we get to like a normal regular season where I can root for people again? Can we please get that? And then on the other hand, I'm like, I liked the discourse of this season. It was odd, and I was gonna say another synonym of like odd. It was odd and unusual. But I did like talking about it a lot, and I like covering these little things. So we're gonna be having kind of a podcast style recap where I am not going to be editing. I'm kind of just speaking off the cuff about the things that stood out to me. If something stood out to me that did not, if something stood out to you that did not stand out to me, please let me know in the comments. I do love to see the discourse that this season has like caused, because I think there's so many different topics and like even people that like people have split opinions on, like Anton and his drinking, Edmund and his personality, um dating with children. I think a lot of things I'm going to talk about specifically here. If you hear my neighbors upstairs, just pray for me. If you could give me a like, because one like does in fact equal one prayer, I would very much appreciate it. They are menaces that are trying to kill me. They are. I just can't prove it yet. But once I do, I'll share it with you guys. Anyway, if you hear them, oh God, please just ignore. Anyway, so I'm gonna be covering the reunion next week, probably next day, like on a Thursday. And then I also have a book channel if you guys like to read, even if you don't like to read, support a girl. Anyway, we are let's go into the episodes. Okay. So we are at the bachelor and bachelorette parties. Such little time. Like I think I blinked and missed them, which I actually liked. I don't love to kind of like waste time at the bachelor and bachelorettes, because it's like, what information are we really getting here other than like nothing? I don't really find a lot of value through them, so I'm very happy that they did not spend a lot of time. I'm wondering if that's because they got back, if they got backlash, if they like are aware the audiences just don't care, or if it's because they're down to like a couple of people. You know what I mean? So the things that's the only a couple things stood out to me about the Bachelor and Bachelorettes. Sparkle Megan and her friends, are they related? Are they related? One of them brings up that she could one of them brings up that Megan may just stay for the fact that she falls in love with Luca, and that pressure to kind of keep a family together even though they're not like a family. It's really interesting the way that Megan has conversations. She just like listens. You know what I mean? She just like, kind of just like does that thing where she's just like intently, and she doesn't really like give like back and forth like banter. I wonder if that's like an editing thing or like a reel, if she just is like that. One of the other friends is like, you know what, you could stay for Luca, but then you guys could also have a beautiful family of your own. I really do feel for Megan in these moments, because I feel like you can just tell there's just not security and confidence in that whole dynamic. Anyway, we get down to Ali, Alini, and her friends. So her friends, are they also Russian, or are they some other type of European that I am not aware of? Because a little bit of me was like, oh, she probably was endeared to Anton because her friends are Russian, and maybe because there's already like a familiarity culturally. That's maybe why she also chose him. Maybe because it was like, I feel like something kind of clicked, but I also don't know how off I am, if that means anything at all. Anyway, um, so they're talking about him, and they're like, "So, do you think that you could see yourself being happy even though he's a truck driver?" And she's like, "He makes very good money. He makes good money." Which I'm just like, truck drivers actually like they do make good money. That's the sacrifice for them being in a truck like for multiple hours in a day. Oh, thank God they're being compensated well. I just Beautiful people who are used to dating like millionaires. I'm just like, I feel like there's like a, I don't know, there's something about that conversation that kind of weirded me out a little bit just as a regular person. Um being like, to go from very good to like you seeing the sadness of just being like good. I don't know, something about that was kind of like, what is like the end goal for you really? Like what's your dream? Because I don't know. I guess when you are that beautiful, maybe you're kind of like, I know I can do better. Like I know I can reach a higher caliber. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's right at all, but just to say like, I can't believe these types of conversations are just like being had like on Netflix television. Um, so then she's like, well, I mean, I do like his potential. He maybe wants to start like a restaurant one day. That could happen. He's only 28. The fact that Anton is 28 actually weirds me out a little. I'm 26. I'm 26 and seeing somebody just 2 years older than me, he looks to me like, you know how people say like people in the 50s that are in their 20s look 30? He looks like a like a young person in their like in the 50s. You know, like he looks so much older than 28, but I also don't know if I'm saying that based off of the fact that like I see 28-year-olds on like Perfect Match and like and I like live in like a college environment and my husband also looks very young. If I'm the one who's off. Does anybody else think Anton looks old? I just anyway. So they're talking about his potential, sorry. Because he's young. And she's like, the friends are like, you can't really like rely on potential. If he never changed, like that's what you're getting today. And that's true. And it's so discouraging and so hard. Because some of us did rely on like potential. Like, and sometimes it comes to fruition, but you have to just be like happy with it potentially not. And that's what they're basically telling her. um I think that really played like a role in how she was thinking. And I think it's such a good thing to bring up too. Is like when you fall in love with with potential, just know that there's an option that just won't come to fruition. The weddings. The weddings are so manipulative, okay? Because it's like the music is really like light and kind of manipulating you to feel like happy and airy about this day, and then the beautiful venue, and then we see all of their relatives, and they're talking about like, oh, I'm so proud of you as an individual, you're going to take this next step. So it's kind of priming you to like want to root for this union to happen, because there's this whole entire event geared towards something that's like really beautiful to blossom. So honestly, I caught myself in these moments in Anton and Alli's wedding being like, she should just say yes. Like she should just say yes. Like everybody drove all this way. Everybody, like the moms are involved. Everybody is involved. Everybody is here. The sister came down. The sister didn't even want to be here. We're like at a beautiful area where they should just get married. And I wasn't even rooting for this couple this whole time. Like I didn't even want them to be together. I was rooting for their downfall. But the wedding somehow just like turned it around. Just so ugh. Okay. So Alan and Anton's wedding is first. Anton is getting ready, and I see his mismatched socks. The mismatched socks, something about that just was like, although Anton's mother said, it's a good sign. It's a good sign. That is a curse to me. I would be so annoyed if I saw that footage back. If I just saw like my husband wearing mismatched socks on our wedding, I'd be like, oh, God. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. But something about that just did it bug you? It bugged me. It's so stupid, but it bugged me. Anton to me just like seemed like very, very set on the yes. There's also, I feel like, a lot about Anton that we just don't know. I feel like a lot of what we know about Anton is because of what Allie's opinions of him are, and like the things that have been revealed to us, like through like the bathroom talk with Allie and that one girlfriend. I feel like to really know Anton, Netflix just didn't wow, Netflix didn't do that for us. So it's like I only see Anton as being somebody who's like into Allie, but he's also very like relaxed, and I don't know. I don't know him well enough. Throughout this whole entire season, we did not see him and her that much. We know her a little bit more than we know him. So that's why I was rooting for her more to like choose happiness, and so let's get into her. So she's talking with her girls, uh, about you know kind of like just about him, and the mom brings up the drinking, and then Alli has to defend him, like, let's just give him a little bit of grace. It's like, that's like been your whole thing, is that like you have like kind of conflict about how he's different than you thought he was going to be, and the drinking habits is one of those. But the mom, I think, was just like, just didn't get the memo that you're not supposed to talk about real things on the wedding day. Like, you're supposed to keep it upbeat until the moment you say yes or no, and then you talk about the things that are for real. Right? And then we see Alli's sister showing up. I need to see more conversation between them. I need to. Like, I would watch a podcast that they labeled like getting into it, the real reason why we have like issues, or like, I want to see that. I need to see further conversation. So we get to the altar. I am so happy that they did the proper order of operations where Anton went first. That is the proper PEMDAS. PEMDAS? What the heck is that? Okay. PEMDAS. Does it matter? So Anton goes first and he says yes. It's always best when the person says yes and then the other person says no. So when Alli said no, it was like, we should have seen that one coming. But the wedding day is just so manipulative. It's so manipulative. So when she says no, she kind of like leaves a little line and like a little air of like, well, the person that you are in the pods is not the person that you are in real life. Thank you. Bye. And she walks off, and it's like, what does that mean? What does that mean? Because that does require further like explanation. But I guess thank you for setting us up for the reunion, Alli. Alani. What the heck? So I'm kind of excited. I hope that Nick and Vanessa just do the right thing and please ask that question. What did you mean by he was different in the box? Because I feel like we kind of know, but I need it drawn out properly. So I'm happy that they're not together. I feel like Alli's gonna go on to date some like prominent person or somebody with just like the net worth that she wants. I don't know, like, honestly, this is kind of inspiring to me because I feel like she I feel like she's the type of person that will not settle for less. And I feel like she's kind of putting it out to Netflix, and then the world is watching, and some random millionaire is gonna DM her, and she's gonna be like, "This is what I needed," Anyway, KB and Edmund. Okay. I have to like be for real and say that I feel bad about how much I have spoken on my like ick in kind of criticisms for Edmund. A lot of it is out of the fact that I feel like I see a lot of people infantilizing Edmund. But at the same time, his wedding really showed me that I just have like a lot of empathy for him. So one of the main things is that Edmund's mom doesn't even show up. I don't know what the heck would be so important that you just would not show up, as much as you talked about how much you love him and he's your special boy and like take care of it, that you just don't show up to his wedding. But I think also then his 5th grade teacher showing up in her place, it was just like kind of a testament to like, this is somebody who has not been supported. Like, he has not been supported, and he has his 5th grade teacher, but he should have people around him that are his family. So I feel like I just kind of in real time, I just kind of now am seeing the fact that like Edmund ultimately, with very little support, has turned into like a very positive, happy person. But I will say I'm not going to walk back on my criticism of like him and Calabria's conversations from the past, but I feel like I have empathy knowing that like this was his day and he was so excited, and things happened that I'm going to talk about. Okay, so KB's twin mother shows up. They're so similar to me. Oh my goodness. I like, if you like the way they speak and then also the way that they look, it's crazy. And KB's mom visits not only KB but Edmund as well. Apparently KB's mom really likes Edmund. That's so sweet. That's also what endeared me to him a little bit more, is the fact that I think when looking at it, Edmund is the type of person where I feel like KB brought it up, a bunch of other people brought up that, like, I guess to know him is to love him seems like a popular sentiment. So the fact that everybody's kind of showing up for him and they want well for him almost makes me sad about some of the like treatment and like hate he might be getting, but not enough to say like he's just a boy, he doesn't know what he was saying. It's like that is also still a grown man, but I have empathy for him. And I feel like he's a sweet person with good energy that's made like good out of his bad circumstances. Anyway, um at the altar, KB, okay, so Edmund says yes. And you almost want KB to say yes, but that's the thing is KB cannot be a mother figure to her partner. She cannot be the parentified person, and I'm so happy that she said no. But she said it in such a way that was so like kind, and she sat with him. She stood up with him and gave him a hug and kind of let him express, and like he truly cried out, like out of emotion, out of disappointment in that moment. And I think that it was like I was sad for like a few minutes. I was also really sad when he was talking to his 5th grade teacher. But I think ultimately it's sad because you know that Edmund has probably been through like a lot of rejection in life and feels as though like, well, if I can't make this work, I can't. This is it. Like he told his teacher. Um, but I think ultimately it was just the best for the both of them. And as much as this was, you know, like her saying no, I think this was a very loving separation of paths. You know, and we really do not see that at the altars, I feel like, when they break up. So I'm happy that it went that way. Let me know how you feel about KB and Edmund and how everything went. If I missed something, I probably missed something. So Megan and Jordan have a conversation, not a wedding. They have a conversation. And so Megan, I think she starts off kind of just essentially saying she can't do the lifestyle changes. She doesn't straight up say it, but she kind of is like, I'm struggling a little more. I have never seen two sides that I agree with in like equal amounts. Like I see Jordan's side and I see Megan's side completely. And so Megan not thinking that she can do the lifestyle changes is what we've been seeing her struggle with ever since they met. Um and I think it's so fair for her to feel that way, and I think it's really fair for her to break things off because she's like I thought I could do this and I really can't. And then Jordan's like, but well, why did you choose me in the pods then? Why did you choose me? I told you about this. And then unfortunately, Megan is like, yeah, I didn't have the experiences that I have now. And it's just, ugh. Um, and it's so hard because you can just see that, like, this is just not a factor for Jordan. It's only hard on him because he doesn't want to, like, ask somebody to, like, love him. But, like, Megan just has to be authentic, and I can tell that it's, like, hard for her, too. Woohoo. Ugh. And Megan admits that she, you know, is like she struggled with somebody who had a kid, and wished, and then Jordan says that he wished that he never introduced her to Luca, which is so understandable. Everything about this is so understandable. Also, Megan also admitting that she maybe is not cut out to be a mom too is so real. The older I get, even myself, I'm like, I don't think I can do it. I don't think I could do it because I just feel like I see so many parents like sacrificing like peace, like, and doing it because they want children and all of that. But I just feel like her being so for real and being like, I don't think I can even, I don't even know. I think it was after, you know, they were having the conversation about like, well, some days I want to go to Italy. And Jordan's like, Italy would be a chore. And I think it's kind of that idea of, I I don't want to sacrifice these things that I've worked so hard for. Oh, let me know how you feel about Megan and Jordan's conversation. This was crazy. This whole season was crazy. I cannot wait to get into the reunion. Oh my god. I wish I had more thoughts, but this is really all that stood out to me. Really. Wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever time of day it is, I hope you have an amazing morning, afternoon, or night.